Seems like we were just starting training camp, but here we are in October, and off we go on EA Sports. Returning it, Carlos Henderson. And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line. They go play action here on first down. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. D. Ford. He's the one that got to him. He takes him down for a loss of 9.
And so much for that great field position to start the game. Now they're way behind the sticks. Can't wait to see what their second down call is going to look like now.
And they'll run it here. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. Calling a loss of 2 on the play. And they're going to be staring at a 3rd and long here. Working out of the gun, Rivers. Throwing for his running back, and he's got it complete. And able to get it here to about the 16-yard line. 5 yards on the pickup, and that's going to bring up a 4th down.
There's an example of good situational football being played by a defense. They understood where the 3rd down play was, the down and distance, and made sure they didn't get anywhere near that, bringing up 4th down.
Yeah, they were sniffing out that marker, didn't want to let him get close to there, and now a likely 3 and out to start.
Yeah, I love the way they rallied to the football and got to him and made sure he didn't give up much run after catch.
Mahomes will lead the Chiefs up 1st and 10 at their 38. A first carry now for Kareem Hunt. Finding some room at midfield. First play of the drive, a success, 19 yards.
And there we see an early burst that makes him one of the leading rushers in the league.
Well, I want you to know, I listened to you yesterday when we were watching film. You said write down the word vision for him. It was on display there, wasn't it?
It certainly was, because he allows the blocks to set up in front of him. And if that continues, it'll be a long afternoon for those guys trying to play some defense.
Out to the right here to Wilson. And he'll cross over out of bounds right at the 25. Nice play for Kansas City, picking up the first 18 yards that time.
When this offense can get their tight ends involved, they can move the football. Here, a nice route, able to look it in, and picks up the first down.
They'll run. This is Hunt. And not much of a hole there as he gets it down to about the 24-yard line. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high-powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20, because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored, you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
And I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace.
The Chiefs have got the passing game rolling a bit, and another first down.
Looked like the defense put pretty good pressure on him, but he's able to flush out to his right to try and evade people. On the run, had to get on his horse. Still accurately throws a nice pass for a first down.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And he'll get this one back to the 5-yard line, but no further than that. No gain on the play that time, and it sets up 2nd and goal.
Well, we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
Now Mahomes throwing on 2nd down. Catch made right side by Wilson. 5 yards that time on the completion, and now it's 3rd and goal.
Well, the strategy was evident there. Get it to your tight end and make it a one-on-one play with a cornerback. Who's usually going to win that one?
The tight end, but not there.
Not in this situation. How about the corner defeating that logic and making a really nice tackle?
They'll try to run with Hunt, and he's going to take it into the end zone for a Chiefs touchdown. A great play there. His 4th touchdown on the year. And the Chiefs are going to take a first-quarter lead. One of the keys to their long winning streak has been scoring first. An ideal drive right there, getting the first 6 points of the ball game.
Do you go back to our meeting with the offensive coordinator? Remember what he told us?
Absolutely.
With some teams, I script to probe in the early part of the game. Other teams, I script to attack. They've been in attack mode for these ball games and continue that in this one.
Butker now to kick this one away. On the return is Henderson. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. And Denver getting set to take the field. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete. And this pass defense, they were sensational in the win last week, and they're looking good here so far in this first quarter.
You know, we often talk about how offenses get locked in, and that runs over multiple games where they're really, in that zone. Defenses can be the exact same way, and I think we're seeing an example of it here.
Another throw on second down, and this one incomplete as well. Now, keep in mind, they did have 3 interceptions last week. Couldn't quite come up with a first-quarter pick that time.
But they had to like what they saw in terms of reacting when the ball is thrown. We had an expression when I played. It was called break on it. Every time the quarterback puts the ball in the air, break on the football. Go make a play and accumulate those interceptions.
Former defensive back. You remember those 3 interception games. It can be contagious, give you a little momentum.
They really can, and it doesn't matter whether it's one person or if you spread them across your entire defense. Everybody wants a piece of that pie.
So the false start certainly doesn't help matters as they'll try again now. 3rd and long. From the shotgun, it's Rivers. And the Chiefs are going to get him. Well, they went with the nickel. They throw in an extra defensive back. Coverage was very good.
Yeah, it was exactly as you would expect. A passing down, you bring in the nickel package. Just as you described, the coverage was excellent and allowed one of their linemen to end up getting to the quarterback.
But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, and that could have been trouble.
I know there's no magnet in the ball, but sometimes for the punt returner, after such a scramble, it sort of feels that way, doesn't it? He has it, he loses it. Somehow the ball finds its way back to him.
Atone for his sin, and you know he's taking a deep sigh of relief right now. Mahomes will lead the Chiefs up 1st and 10, just shy of midfield at the 48. Play fake there to Hunt. Now Mahomes. He's going to launch this thing way downfield. So they took a shot on first down, but couldn't connect.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that first down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
Back to the air on second down. It's Mahomes. This is complete to Watkins on the slant. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. His first catch of the game, good for 11 and a first down.
This has to go down as one of the simpler routes in the playbook, but oh so effective. Nice completion there. Keeps the sticks moving.
Throwing on first down is Mahomes. And this one caught by Travis Kelce. And they'll be inside the 35 now at the 34-yard line. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion.
It is hard in zone coverage to stop a curl route because when they see it, they just try and find the open spot and sit down.
Yeah, we always talk about finding the soft spot in the zone. What's the key to doing that? How do you do it?
You have to read what the coverage is. Is it 2 deep? Is it 3 deep? Because then you know where the linebackers are going to drop, what spots in the field they naturally get to, and you find that open space, and then you're in sync with your quarterback. He should be reading the exact same thing, and they put the ball right on you.
A good pickup there at 22.
And let's face it, that what we just saw there, not a surprise, is it? I mean, this is what he does well. And if you don't tackle him as soon as he catches the ball, this is the end result. Big yardage afterwards.
Got the speed, the agility, so good with run after catch. And we're only in the first quarter, so they better get a wrangle and a hold on that quickly.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And what's really difficult to try and defend him is if you want to press him so that you get him on the ground quickly after the catch, a lot of times he'll just run past you at the initial point of contact, and he'll go deep. He has elite instincts from his linebacker spot. He's able to diagnose the run and flies in like a missile to stop that one behind the line of scrimmage.
Mahomes now to throw. This will be caught just inside the 10. And he takes this into the end zone for a Chiefs touchdown. Travis Kelce, his second touchdown on the season. And the Chiefs are able to grow their lead.
A good tight end is a heck of a weapon for any quarterback, especially when you're able to create some mismatches. Sometimes they work against a linebacker, sometimes they work against a smaller defensive back. But when they find it, they go to it, and it often results in touchdowns.
Butker now to add the extra point. This time, the extra point up and good. And the lead now stands at 13. Butker now to kick this one away. On the return is Henderson. And nice work on the return as they'll start their drive just past the 30-yard line. And Denver getting set to take the field. They've had it twice. They've punted twice. Not the start they were hoping for.
Not at all, and let's face it, every facility we visit, everyone talks about converting on third down, how big that is. In this situation, they've had to punt it away twice.
And that's caught inside the 30. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field.
Holding offense.
Now that's one they hate. The ball's got to come all the way back.
So that's an explosive play, a really explosive play that gets wiped out, and they have to start over after the penalty.
From the gun, Rivers. A battle for it, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the corner, Bradley Roby. And they take possession 2 yards away from midfield at the 48-yard line.
And Brandon, the passing game for both of these teams is going to be affected as the game goes along. It's not looking like the rain's going to let up anytime soon. So that might mean a few more wobbly passes and wide receiver slips. And this one...
This is caught inside the 15. And that one results in 35 yards.
I'd have to say that whenever you see a good post route run, they do not like to let it end without the catch. Hence, that great diving play.
Yeah, lay it up there, let him go get it, and he got it. Mahomes hit, he lost the football. The Broncos say they have it, they do. Back alongside Charles Davis on Brandon. Now the Broncos offense, they get set to head back onto the field. Now last time wasn't pretty. One play and an interception. We'll see if they can do better.
I want to see if they want to go ahead and throw the ball again now on this drive after what happened on the last one. Throw it on the first play. Give the quarterback some confidence.
See what happens. And the catch made. This is Emmanuel Sanders. And he takes this up to the 40-yard line before being corralled. That's a good way to start the drive. 17 yards and a first down. That's the number 2 receiver in the NFL in terms of yardage. And tell you what, a few more plays like that, he won't be number 2 for long.
But that's what often happens when you have competitors running around the field. These guys know where they stand in relationship to yardage, totals, numbers, the whole deal. And let's face it, all of them, they all want to be number 1. And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
To throw is Rivers, and his throw is incomplete. Demaryius Thomas, the intended receiver, and it's 3rd and short.
Well, they're slinging it, and then there's one you got to put a timer on, huh? I mean, that one came in hot.
That came in hot, but overthrown out of his reach and incomplete. And they'll go on the ground. And they'll stop him right on the midfield stripe. It'll be called a gain of 2, and that'll leave them with some options here on 4th and inches.
That didn't appear to be a run blitz. He just darted in once he saw the run develop. That appeared to be a case of see ball, get ball.
Kareem Hunt and the rest of the offense making their way back out there. It's the second quarter. His team has the lead, but I think he's hoping for a little bit more production out of himself.
And we often talk about preaching patience to a runner when things are a little bumpy in the early going. But we have to do the same thing with the offensive line. They can't wait to halftime to make the adjustments. They have to do it from series to series. So those surface tablets come into play. Check out what the defense is doing and see if they can find a better way to run it.
So they search for that patience here now. Mahomes now nearly perfect. 9 of 10 in this first half. It's 1st and 10. Here's Hunt. They'll only get a couple up to about the 30.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because when they're hoping this big defensive lineman will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Here's Mahomes to throw. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Von Miller in there to drop him for his 5th sack of the year. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you, and you change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest one is maybe you bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case, that didn't happen. 0 accountability, and a sack resulted.
Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect. They only punted twice in the win last week as he gets this one away. This is taken at the 23. Well, he wasn't too far from breaking that. Officially, give him 15. And the Broncos take over. 1st down and 10. Here's Emmanuel Sanders now as he and the rest of the offense march back onto the field. They've got to be thinking, how can we get him a little bit more involved here? Second quarter, you're down, and really, he's been out of the mix.
I would agree with that, and oftentimes you hear, well, we're just taking what the defense is giving us. But sometimes that's just not good enough. Sometimes you have to take what you want, and that means getting him the football.
Yeah, so far just a single catch in this game. Charles, he doesn't seem to be particularly in tune with his receivers, just 2 for 7 throwing the football, but he did seem really locked in before the game.
Yeah, and that has to do with receivers sometimes. Sometimes the defenders knock them off their routes, and they're usually pretty precise. 1, 2, 3 cut, balls out of his hands to the receiver. In this case, might be off by a half step either way. They've got to find a way to get back in sync. One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
A very solid gain of 27. A nice little completion there by Phillip Rivers. And you and I were reading the article yesterday, 5th grade. Rivers had to do a project where he had to make a poster about his dreams and aspirations, so he clipped out a football player from a magazine article and pasted his... Now a hit, and Rivers lost the football. But it looked like, fortunately, the Broncos able to recover.
On plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back because this is the quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or moved away from it. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
And they go backwards here, losing yardage back at the 48-yard line.
With the struggles we're seeing up front for the offense today, they've got to think about changing up their play calling. Some screens, some draws, some quick hitting plays in order to try and supplement the run game. You don't totally abandon it, but you try and give it a little bit of help.
He's going to let this one go deep. And it's intercepted at the goal line. Picked off by the corner, Bradley Roby.
And that's now the second time he's picked off a pass here in the first half alone. Again, another great read defensively, and you just see him get in the right position to make the play and get his guys the football back.
So after the INT, here's Mahomes. And the Broncos get there and take him down. Shaquille Barrett in there to drop him, and it'll be a loss of about 8.
I know there'll be a little bit of criticism there because they went right back to the air after the huge pickup and end up getting sacked. That's often a play that you make. You feel like you've got momentum on your side.
Unfortunately, the O-line failed to hold up to try to keep that momentum going. Throwing the out route incomplete. That's Hill. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Nice play for Kansas City, picking up the first 18 yards that time. 2 minutes remain here in the first half. We're back to Arrowhead after this. A reminder, once we hit halftime, as we do all season, we'll send it down to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have all the stats and scores from games in progress around the NFL.
The best multitasker in the business, the coach.
And he'll push his way up to about the 44 here. 2 yards on the carry there, and it'll be second down.
He did have the touchdown run earlier, but not a heck of a lot more than that throughout this game.
No, not at all. In fact, I would say that this defense has done as good of a job on him as they have on any runner in recent memory. Now here's Mahomes. Oh, nearly picked. And maybe lucky there. This guy doesn't drop many defensively. Third down.
You're down 2 touchdowns. You just know defensively you absolutely have to come up with a big play. That nearly was one right there.
Looked over at the sideline immediately after the drop and just saw the dejection. They felt it. They thought he had it. Unfortunately, couldn't come up with it. Throwing is Mahomes on third. And this is caught by Watkins. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. The Chiefs have got the passing game rolling a bit. And another first down. He's such a good route runner. Shows it there on third down. Very proficient and a good pass.
And you know what I've observed over the years in the NFL? The better a route runner you are, the more confidence your guy's going to have in you to go to you in important times because he can trust you being in the right spot, and they connected there and picked up a first down. So if you've been playing defense in this one, there's a little bit of the good and some bad because they did give up the touchdown run to him early but shut him down otherwise.
Outside of that, you're exactly. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. And now maybe they want some extra time to talk about this third and long play as we'll get a timeout. As they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the first half. Going to need better protection here. Third and long following the sack for Mahomes and company. Now Mahomes. He's got the hook up with Conley. And he'll go down at the 28. Now the Broncos are going to call the first of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 45 seconds to go in the first half. Now Harrison Butker for the field goal try. Spotted at the left hash, this from 45. And the kick by Butker is good. And that's going to make this a 16-0 ball game. So the scoring drive encompasses 9 plays, and the net result, 3 points.
Take your disappointment and put it aside. 9 plays. Yeah, they want to end up in the end zone with a touchdown. I get that. But sometimes those 9-play drives pay dividends later with another 9-play drive that culminates in a touchdown when they wear down a defense.
This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And the decision to bring it out will cost him about 5 yards as he'll get this only back to the 20. Phillip Rivers now gears up to take the offense back out there. He and his team, they have had a rough go of it here in this first half. Maybe time for him to put his foot down here in the second quarter.
Put his foot down and become a little more accurate throwing the football. He's already thrown 2 interceptions. He's trying to find a way to equal things out. And instead of it going to the opponents, get it to his own receivers and find the end zone.
Yeah, you mentioned those 2 picks. No touchdown passes yet either. The Broncos in their hurry-up try to get to their positions and get set quickly. Final play of the half, Rivers. Finding his safety valve here. That's complete. And he's able to get up here to the 26. You want the third quarter already? No problem. Let's do it. So we've come upon halftime here in Arrowhead with the Chiefs on top. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. And he'll bring it a few past the 20 to the 23-yard line. Here comes the Chiefs offensive unit as they'll have it to begin quarter number 3. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? They score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly because what you really want to do, even though you know the scoreboard is still up there and the game's going to go on, in fact, you can take the spirit away from another team. Their drive and will to come back and win can be taken with another score right here.
Still third quarter, but you just get that feel.
Yeah, they're teetering right there on the brink, aren't they? Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral. Also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open.
Well, Mahomes can't get away, and down he goes. Von Miller, he's the one to get him, and that's sack number 7 for him on the year.
They need to stop to get back into this game, and here's one right to start the third quarter.
Yeah, anytime you go to the lockers with that 2-3 score deficit, you're right. You need that stop, get the football back, and they've done just that.
Series to series, play to play.
Now Hunt, and an alley to run. Accelerating, and off he goes. And he takes it down deep into enemy territory. Now it appears we've got a Chief moving pretty gingerly down there. We'll step aside and get an update when we return to Arrowhead. After the big play, a chance to finish now on 1st and goal. They'll give it to him right up the gut. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. He'll wind up losing a yard on the play, and it'll be 2nd and goal. They come out here in the eye. He's going to get it running right. And he is in. Touchdown, Kansas City. A great effort there. His 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Chiefs add on to their lead. Butker on for the PAT.
We know that the big guys won't get the credit, Brandon, but we also know that that touchdown belongs to them. Excellent job of clearing the way for their running back.
Footing always a concern, but the extra point's up and good. And that pushes the lead up to 23. Butker now to kick this one away. On the return is Henderson. Then he'll take this across the 25. A couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. So now a look at the Broncos as they head back out there for their first possession of the second half. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half 2.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second half?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use, just something to get you off to a quick start.
And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. It's a loss of 4. Now 3rd down.
We think, Brandon, I like the intensity this defense is showing right here in these first few drives. They're not just holding the line because they're doing their job, but they're doing more than that, aren't they? They're getting a nice push into the offensive backfield.
And a great example right there for the loss on the tackle. 3rd and long for Rivers. It's brought in by Floyd.
Illegal touching. Offense.
So this will be accepted as it moves the offense backwards. Here's Marquette King now. He's been one of their few bright spots so far. And this is away. It's a high kick, and he got all of it. Kareem Hunt and the rest of the offense making their way back out there. He's been a good workhorse. I know we use the word workhorse a lot, but he's been a good workhorse for him in this one.
No doubt about it, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what you're looking for if you're a back, because that means everything's coming together for you. Big guys up front have created space. You've run through it. You've probably gotten some help even from the wide receivers who want to catch passes as opposed to block, but they're helping out too.
Yeah, everyone's pitching in. He's had a good game.
Well, he was looking for some running room, and there wasn't a whole lot of it there on that play. I think he was lucky to get a couple of yards out of it. So those defenders, they were rallying to the football pretty quickly.
Now they'll run it on the toss. Only a couple there, as he'll be brought down about the 28.
I know that speed is the hallmark of today's NFL game, but the key to good rushing defense is still having your linebackers set the edge.
Looking to throw is Mahomes. On target over the middle of the hill. And he gets it to the 34. Good enough for the first. That'll give him 60 yards receiving now as he's got a first down.
Did you see that route the way that I did? I thought he was trying to get deep.
Yeah, that
first.
wasn't the first option.
No, not that. He came off of that guy, the deep guy, and came underneath on the drag. Completed it very well.
And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. Give him 13 yards there and a Kansas City first down. What makes a draw play like that successful?
Well, we did see where he made the first wave miss, and that was a big part of it. But a lot of it is just being actors back there, making the defense think it's going to be a pass.
On 1st and 10, here's Mahomes. He'll be brought down by the Broncos. It's a sack. Von Miller in there to get him, and that's sack number 8 for him on the year.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
Got to imagine the pass rush will be equally intense here on 2nd down following the sack. It's 2nd and 18. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36. Now that screen there on 2nd down certainly didn't develop how they had hoped. Is that one they should have even tried, or is that one the quarterback sticks in his pocket?
I think the latter. I like what you said there, because trying is one thing. We can second guess just about every call. But in this case, when you realize it is broken down, just throw it at the feet of your intended receiver so that no one can pick it off, right? You don't have the ball tipped up in the air, and you come back and try and pick up the first down on 3rd down. That way you don't lose any yardage.
He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. We'll call that a 43-yard punt, 2 on the return, and the offense will take over with a new set of downs. They go play action here on 1st down. Over the middle, open is Thomas. And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. The drive starting with a first down, 11 yards on that pickup.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go, because he might wander into some tough coverage.
Now a play fake here on 1st down. And nowhere to get away. Rivers is dropped. Justin Houston able to drop him for a loss of 4.
Now, we talk about players blitzing all the time. I often laugh and sometimes call it just straight-ahead pursuit. What a running start right back to the backfield for him.
Yeah, didn't give anybody a chance to get up there and stop it.
No, I mean, that's really, really difficult. You're asking a whole lot anyway, but when he gets that kind of a start and comes through clean, oftentimes the advantage definitely goes to the defensive player. I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage. Throwing on 3rd and long. Rivers. And that is incomplete. What a difference a week makes. Last week he hit on over 80% of his passes. This week he's down under 50%. What do you see as the difference?
Well, I think we're used to seeing a drop. If someone's over 80%, they're not going to hold that number, not in this league. But a drop under 50%, that just tells me that the defense, they spent a lot of extra time on game films and came up with a really good plan to try and chip away at his timing.
Kareem Hunt and the rest of the offense making their way back out there. He's up over 100 yards, and he'll be looking to get in the end zone again.
Has a tremendous nose for it, doesn't he? The ability to pile up yardage and find the end zone, that's the combination you want in your runner.
Yeah, it's a combination any coach wants, and we'll see if he can find that end zone once more. And they work this well upfield across the 45. That good for 22 and a first down.
Dance class, anyone? Did you see the steps between the quarterback and the running back on that counter play? That's what you need for a good counter. You have to have it because you're setting up your blocking. There's a timing element as well, but they have to marry up their steps. Otherwise, that timing gets thrown out the window.
Timing was great there and a big run. And he's got it across midfield and into Denver territory. They fake the give. Now Mahomes. And he finds a man with a crossing route. And he will be taken down, but a big pickup there on what's going to be the final play of the third quarter. A lot of happy faces in the crowd at this point as their guys have a big lead here to start quarter number 4. On first down, they'll run it on the draw play. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. Officially no gain on the play, and it's second down. Charles, you'd said the magic number was probably right around 20 for this defense because they're facing one of the top 5 offenses in the league in terms of points scored. They've had their moments, but this offense just a little too good, isn't it?
They really are, because no matter what you do to make an adjustment on defense, they've had an answer for it.
Now a handoff here to his running back. And down inside the 15 he goes. That one good for 12 yards into Kansas City first. A lot to praise on this drive, obviously. I know you're seeing what I'm seeing. Those guys up front, they're getting it done. Doesn't
matter what play is called. They are handling their business at the line of scrimmage and dominating right now on this drive.
Being chased out left. He'll wind up getting 9 after tucking it and running, so it'll leave him with 2nd and a yard.
Now, that was not a bad scramble there on first down. He didn't force it, nor did he throw it away. He was able to take off, and now he made it a very manageable 2nd and short.
Now a handoff looking right. And he's going to take it into the end zone for a Chiefs touchdown. A great play there. His 2nd touchdown of the game, his 3rd on the year. And the Chiefs have got it on cruise control. And he certainly played a pivotal role with those 2 TDs and why they're up on the scoreboard right now.
Well, someone's all about winning, aren't they? Because he's not worried about the number. Sure, it's great to have 2 touchdowns. But the bottom line is what he's doing is contributing to their lead. He wants to continue to do so.
Butker now to kick this one away. That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll make it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. The Bronco offense now set to come back out onto the field. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone, not even put points on the board. They've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try and figure out what is working, and call more of that.
Throwing again, Rivers on 2nd and 10. Oh, look at Thomas wide open. And all the way down to the 22-yard line. It's a big play there for the Broncos. 55 yards.
He's come a long way since his time at Georgia Tech. What did he run at Tech? He ran hitches and go routes, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, but he ran them really well. He averaged well over 20 yards a catch while he was there. And he still creates downfield in the NFL. That big body and that willingness to go catch the football. He's pretty impressive.
And his friends call him Bebe, the nickname his uncle gave him back in the day. It'll be a pickup of only a yard, and that'll make this a second down. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling him almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
And they'll bring him down at the 18-yard line. Call it a 3-yard gain, and they're going to face a third down.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
And he will have the first down inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
Well, partner, I know this type of running back. I mean, this size, this intensity usually gets better as the game goes on. I can just tell you from experience, the first few quarters, oh, you're eager. You come running up there, I'm going to tackle this guy. By the 4th quarter, you're coming up and thinking about it.
And D-line wearing down 4th quarter. Yeah, that's not a guy they want to see consistently.
What a game this defense has played. They're pitching a shutout, so it'd be fun to watch down the stretch to see if their defensive coordinator continues to be as aggressive as he's been all game long.
They'll look to run with Freeman. And that one blown up quickly as he's going to be stopped before he could even get started. This will be a 2-yard loss on the play. And that is going to set up 3rd and goal.
Now, that was a terrific play. We're down here near the goal line, and only one word comes to mind for me, and that's overwhelmed, because they absolutely overwhelmed the offensive line. He came free and made the hit in the backfield.
And it's caught. And he'll be brought down here at the 3-yard line. A great job to hold him to just a yard there. Now it's 4th and goal.
Completed pass brings up a 4th down situation. Do you play analytics on this one? Well, you know, what do your analytics tell you about going for it here? I wonder what they would say.
They tell me you're down by this margin 4th quarter, you're going. And McManus able to put it through. And high fives for that one as that drive ends in 3. Well, it's a Pyrrhic victory at best, but, Charles, no team wants to get shut out, so it's hard to blame them for taking the 3 there.
You can't blame them one bit. It hasn't been the best performance, that's for darn sure. But there is something to be said for fighting to avoid the goose egg, and they're at least trying to finish out strong.
And the Chiefs are going to make the recovery. Well, 4th quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of an anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
And when do they start thinking about burning these timeouts? They've got all 3 still defensively.
To me, you have to start right now. Here's the time, and that means you've got to stop them on defense, not give up the yardage, use your timeout in order to get the ball back and try and score yourself. But now is the time to start using those timeouts.
And keep in mind, it'll also stop the clock at the 2-minute warning.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
26 Mike.
And on the ground they go with a running back. And little room to maneuver there. He gets it down to about the 39. So the Chiefs in possession of the ball as we welcome you back. They've got a 4th down here in a game that looks to have been decided already. Online, but off the crossbar, no good. A long-range effort denied 3 points at the very end. Good starting position for the Broncos here as they come up 1st and 10. All things considered, a pretty good kick, just cruel punishment there to be denied by the crossbar.
If you're going to hit from that distance, sometimes you're going to need a little luck, and unfortunately for him, This time, the break goes against him.
A gain of 6 there on first. You got the big lead defensively. Willing to give him that underneath stuff, right?
And this is why you work on your tackling. Tackle him after the catch, inbounds, keep the clock running. Just go ahead and bleed the game out that way.
Sanders has it over the middle. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. 11 yards there as they connect on the quick slant. Rivers on first down. And he's taken down. A Chiefs sack. Chris Jones with a great push up front. He picks up the sack and a loss of 8.
We've been around this league for a while, and many coaches never pull their starting quarterback, almost no matter the situation. In this case, though, I think he's got to make a decision. He's taking a pretty good beating out there.
Yeah, and with the deficit, maybe not wanting to risk an injury. And an alley to run. And they'll be inside the 35 now at the 34-yard line. Give him 10 yards on the pickup, and they're going to have a third down. Now you've got to hustle your guys to the line and get them set. On third down, Rivers. He's got a man. It's Sutton that's complete. And all the way inside the 15 before they drop him. And now we won't see a play on first down. We're going to get a timeout instead, as they'll stop him with a little over 30 ticks to go in the football game. From the red zone now, Rivers. And Gresham has it left side. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up second down.
I think it's okay there. They didn't get a whole lot on that play, but it's nice to have a safety valve that's built like this guy. Big target, guy you can spot pretty easily. Put it on him when your other targets aren't open.
2nd and 5 after the 5-yard completion on first down. From the shotgun, it's Rivers. And it's incomplete. Another wayward pass. You know, things started out poorly in this game, and to be frank, they just really haven't gotten much better.
And all that does is embolden the secondary. They feel good about what's going on, and they just play better and better.
The Broncos on third down. They've converted a third of their opportunities, 3 for 9. This will be 3rd and 5.
Load it! Load it!
Again, it's Rivers. And that is caught. Well, they're going to see this one to the end. They get a score, but pretty much an exercise in futility right now. Still down big.
And yeah, that touchdown counts for their team, but I think it counts more for the fantasy guys, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just something maybe positive to look at on film, but this one's over, let's be honest.
Yeah, I agree with you totally on that one.
McManus's point after is good, and that will get him one closer. This is taken at his 4. Down to a knee here. The defense still with a couple of timeouts. We'll see if they want to use them.